All right, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Hunter Johnson, who asked me to do a Superman Captain America story. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the third tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, I hope you all enjoy this, and let's get started with the video. So this story is, like I said, a Superman Captain America crossover, which, could actually happen now that Marvel and DC are working together again. But anyway, let's get started. So the story actually begins in World War II, where Cap, Bucky, and the Howling Commandos have basically discovered that Hydra has been out in the Syrian desert, and they basically Hydra and the Nazis are basically trying to dig up something of importance. So Cap and Bucky broke it up, and they had no idea what it was. It was like these weird ancient weaponry, and that's when Nick Fury and the rest of Howling Commandos are like, "Hey, higher ups just called Steve. They want to take this to top men." Who? Top men. So Steve is just like, "No, these things need to be destroyed if the Nazis wanted them. Like, maybe no one should have these kind of whatever these things are." Whatever these things are, they need to be put away. They need to be either destroyed or just forgotten about. But Nick just basically says, "It's out of our hands, Steve." So, so Cap basically gives up, and now we fast forward. Red Skull was basically like, "Damn, I really wanted that weapon, the weapons in there, but there's always another time. We'll try again in the future." So the weapons get transported to another, facility, and this time around, that's when, the government basically says, "Hey, this group called Star Labs is here, and they're here to confiscate the weaponry and kind of take it to, study." And of course, if you haven't figured out yet, this is old Apocalypse tech. This is old New Gods tech. So Star Labs took it, and for years they sat on it because at that time they didn't know how to activate it. And then over the decades, they just kind of shelved it and forgot it, but kept it out of everyone's hands. But of course, that's somewhere in a warehouse in Metropolis. And that's one day when the Red Skull actually attacks Star Labs. And of course, his attack does attract the attention of Superman. So Superman comes flying in, and he's like, "I've heard of you, so you're the Red Skull. Welcome to Metropolis, sir. Welcome to Metropolis, Skull. I'm going to enjoy. You're also going to enjoy a time in jail." And Red Skull is just like, the Man of Steel, truth, justice, and the American way. I look forward to crushing you. And that's when he Skull unleashes something that Superman was not prepared for. Hydra robots that have kryptonite inside of them. But Superman does, he does manage to persevere and destroy them, and that's when, Red Skull, while the Hydra agents were distracting them, manages to take what it was, take the weapon, take the weaponry and leave, but not before leaving Superman with one more, one more force to destroy, and that is a couple of parademons. So Superman fights is battling the parademons, and that's when a shield comes flying in and strikes one of the parademons. And Steve Rogers catches it, puts it back on his arm, and is just like, "Superman, I wish I could have met you in better standards, but I wish I got here sooner." So Clark and Steve meet, and they're like, "Captain America, it's an honor to meet you." And it's and Clark even says, "I feel like it feels like we've done this before, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, deja vu, but right now we got to worry about what the Skull took." And he was like, "I was tracking the Skull for days, and I was trying to reach out to you, but I just couldn't get here in time. And now Skull stole from Star Labs." And that's when Clark asks what did he steal? And he's like, "We believe you know what it is already. You already know it as Apocalypse technology. During World War II, I encountered the Skull. I stopped him. We didn't know what it was. We handed it over to Star Labs, and I guess they just shelved it because they didn't even know what it was." So Clark is just like, "Oh shit, we can't let the Skull have any of that. there's no way, there is no way we can let Skull and Hydra have anything of New God technology. So Red Skull basically is like, after nearly 90 years of being unable to take these weapons, I now have true weapons of the gods. And of course, as they're trying to activate it, that's when it suddenly sends off a message. And yeah, who else but Darkseid answers the call? And he's like, who dares steal weapons from the Lord of Evil? And Red Skull is just like, you must be the one called Darkseid. And then Red Skull kneels before him, and he's like, I have, for ages I thought I was the most evil thing in creation, but I pale in comparison to you. And Darkseid's just like, flattery only gets you so far. You must be the Red Skull. I've heard of you. Your evil is so corruptive, it's reached all the way to here, to Apokolips. And you've stolen something from me. Not stolen, recovered. So I will, with these weapons, we can finally kill Superman and Captain America. All I ask is that you give me more time. And he's like, give you more time? He's like, yeah, you gave me the parademons, didn't you? And he goes, it would seem, Darkseid basically is like, it would seem that someone tried to reach out to you sooner to get my attention. Isn't that right, Desaad? And Desaad's just like, yeah, I wanted to, Red Skull was the only one who could find these lost god weapons, and I sent him parademons without my knowledge. I will deal with you later. But for now, if we can, if you say you can kill Superman, then do so. Fail, and you will be punished. So now Hydra, with the new Genesis tech, is now building new weapons. And meanwhile, Superman and Steve and Captain America are, they're just kind of talking about what could happen. And they actually get in touch with Nick Fury, who said, yeah, I've been following, there's been a lot of activity coming out of Hungary. So that's probably your best bet. So Superman and Captain America have a moment where it's like, we're going to go into another country, and is that ethical? And Superman basically said, Captain America and Superman have that kind of ethical debate. Is like, we're going, if we step foot on that country, we come as, we'll be seen differently, because Hungary is not exactly a nice place. But we can, if we go there, and it doesn't matter, because people are going to die. So that's what they can consent to. So Superman and Captain America go there, and they do find the Hydra base, which now they get greeted by new Genesis tech-empowered robots, Hydra mechs. So Superman and Cap have to fight them, and in the midst of it all, Red Skull's just kind of wallowing in his crapulence, you see the powers of New Genesis with the mind of Hydra. Hydra will be the herald of a new age, of new age of gods and monsters, and the Red Skull shall herald the coming of Darkseid. And through it, he basically reveals, I built my own boom tube, and I'm going to bring Darkseid to Earth so you can deal with him yourself. So sure enough, Red Skull activates the Hydra boom tube, and Darkseid comes through, and he's like, son of Krypton, we meet again. And that's when he gets hit in the eye with a shield, and he's like, sorry, Superman's a little busy, but I'm always itching for a new dance partner. So Darkseid's like, you are, the soldier. You believe you are the spirit of an entire nation, but I will break that spirit. And he's like, many a weaker men have tried, and you're no different. Fascist is a fascist. So Darkseid, looses his Omega beams, and the shield protects Cap, but it's burning away at the shield. It's scorching it. Superman has enough time to grab one of the robots, throw it at Darkseid, and the Red Skull actually uses a kryptonite gun to hit Superman, and he's just like, this will be great. If I am the man who kills Superman, I kill the hope of the world. And he's like, you're never going to kill me, Skull. I died once. Wasn't I'm not going to do that again for a while. So Superman just punches Skull, takes him out, and uses some of the Apokolips Hydra tech to like blast Darkseid, take him out for a second, and Steve just throws Cap the shield, and with it, Superman just rockets forward, knocks Darkseid back through the portal, and as it's like collapsing in and of itself, Darkseid grabs Skull and is like, your failure, I meant it when I said your failure will be met with great punishment, and pulls Skull into the portal, taking him back to Apokolips. And Superman's like, you're not going to feel bad about that, are you? He's like, oh, no, I'm not going to lose a wink of sleep. Darkseid did me a favor. So by the end of it, S.H.I.E.L.D. and Star Labs come in and start cleaning up the mess and rounding up the other Hydra agents. And Steve and Superman just kind of have like a, it's great to have, it's honor working with you, Superman. And he's like, no, the honor's mine. You're the face of a nation. And he goes, and Steve just goes, no, but you're the face of the world. So, as long as we're here, hope is never going to die. So there you go, guys. That is the Superman Captain America crossover. I want to thank Hunter Johnson for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. And like I said earlier, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the 3rd tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.